Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Dirty Laundry. On tonight's episode, I'm joined with a friend of mine from the local Newark, Delaware meta, Thomas. Say hi.
Greetings.
So today we're going to be discussing the identity that won the user poll on Twitter, which was the Chronos Protocol Selective Mind Mapping, which is the 4515 Jinteki ID that the first time you do net damage each turn, so both the runner and the corpse turn, you can look at the runner's grip and select the card that is trashed in that way. So we're going to try to kind of scratch build a deck, and then we're going to run it on Jinteki and see how it goes. So I don't know about you, Thomas, but when I think about this identity, one of the first things that comes to mind is that this is more of a rush kind of control type identity.
I definitely agree with you that it's a control type.
Yeah. But you're not going to be able to you're not going to be able to hold somebody down for an entire game. This is an identity that helps you create scoring windows, but you're
Yep.
not doing enough net damage most likely to get like the personal evolution flatline potential. So you're just looking to create artificial scoring windows. So I think when we start with something like this, I think we really need to start with how we're going to create those scoring windows. So I would say one of the biggest things that we should probably start with is one of the few sources of net damage that we can actually control, which is neural EMP.
Yeah, it's Neural EMP is definitely an auto include in a Chronos Protocol deck, and I think three of as well. So
Yeah, well, because it's the one identity where you can actually control it, and it's going to be more impactful. Whereas in other Jinteki IDs, Neural EMP is only really useful if it's going to get you the kill, which is a rarer scenario. But Neural EMP, being able to just pick out the best card out of your opponent's hand whenever you draw it, that's pretty good. Um, I put in 3 hedge funds because why wouldn't we?
I
Uh,
yeah, I've never tried a deck without hedge fund. I
yeah,
probably should, but it always goes in.
yeah. I feel like we want a lot of never advance. So feeding into our net damage, what do you think of including House of Knives?
So when I tried a Chronos Protocol deck, I liked House of Knives quite a bit. Being able to snipe pieces out of hand mid run was always entertaining.
Yeah, I would say absolutely. Do we want fetal AI or do we not care? That's one of the things that I come back to. Is in this archetype, do we want fetal AI?
I, I would like to see what it looks like without Fetal first.
Okay, we'll come back to that. So other sources of net damage that we can consistently land. Let's look at some ice. So certain things like psychic field and things, still might have a place in this deck, but you're only controlling one of the net damage. And with something like psychic field, it would be their entire hand anyway. So there's kind of an anti-synergy there.
Yeah, same thing with Kamainu.
Yeah. So I feel like we definitely want Yagura's because Yagura is just going to be a cheap way to gear check, and that one net damage subroutine is incredibly potent for
Yep.
one cost. Um, I don't think we want Pups because Pups the damage never goes off.
Yeah, that just gets paid through. It's just attacks.
Yeah. See, this is what I always come back to when I'm building decks like this. You know, is data mine worth it? If we draw it early, it's great. If we
Yes.
don't, it's like eh.
Well, it's tolerable even when you draw it late, provided you're not playing Faust. Faust is,
I
I mean,
mean, but
not
it
that any of
still
that's
costs them a
great because
card.
it
It's
still
just
costs them
the
a card, just not a card we can choose.
right. So we'll put 2 of in for now, and then we'll come back to it. We should toss 3 Jacksons in before I forget because
Yes.
Jackson's a thing. I think we definitely want a Philotic.
Yeah, always. This kind
Um,
of deck, high agenda density.
yeah, I think we probably want maybe some Brain Trust so that we can rush when we have that scoring window a little easier. Yeah, maybe put in like a 3 of brain trust.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that being good. What's the other rush agenda that Jinteki has?
Medical breakthrough, is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, that is exactly the one that I'm thinking of because you've got a decent chance of having the first one get jacked,
Which
and
just makes
then
Flotic better anyway.
right, which just makes Philotic better anyway, and it gives you that better rush potential. We need another agenda, um, preferably something that's we either. That's rough.
Yeah,
Um,
this is where when I built this deck, Fetal went into that spot, but I was never happy to see Fetal.
right. Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I mean, we could always put in a one of global food, which makes it so that again, um, it just closes out our agenda suite. Or hmm,
We're never going to be rushing out the global food.
yeah, no. So we should cut the global food. Maybe go down to 2 House of Knives, and then do 2 Nisei MK2s.
I
So we
like it.
have that little bit of jack the run potential. Um, so I think you mentioned Faust. I think Swordsman is probably a good call.
It is. It has
Um,
that net damage in there.
do we want two or do we want one?
I would start with two. The
Yeah, we
problem is,
can.
you want to see it in that matchup. In other matchups,
It's like a
it's just
meaningless card.
it's
Yeah,
just that point of net damage for a gear check.
right. Um, we need some. We need some more sources of net damage. I would say, from my own experience dealing with Hokusai grid in the past, it's probably more meaningful here than it is. It's just more of a nuisance here than it is in any other. Like, I
Yeah,
think one of the most interesting things about Chronos Protocol, even though we really haven't seen it succeed at high levels of play, or we have, but not like in a ton of tournaments, is that it does do this incredible job of making every card, net damage card that Jinteki has better.
yes.
So, I don't know. I feel like this is another card that we really want to see, but I don't know how much we want to see it. We'll start with 3, and we can
Yeah.
always peel it back later.
It's basically every time we res it, it's a 4 credit, 1 card tax, unless they never want to go into that server again.
Right. We need some just normal end the run, so we need some Bakus.
I like
Put
it.
in
Cheap price.
maybe 2 of those.
Yep.
Um, I don't think I don't think we want snares. I don't think we want to be dumping that much money for net damage, as insane as that is to say.
I agree. Yeah, so that was one of the things I found interesting about this deck is because you're never trying to go for the kill. I'm sorry, I'm not saying never, but you're rarely trying to go for the kill. So a lot of the times, paying extra for that extra net damage, it's just a bit of it's a tempo hit for them.
Right,
But the one net damage cards seem to get more mileage.
right. Um,
I would put shocks before snares, but I'm not even sure I'd recommend that in this deck.
well, let's start with 2 because we're not necessarily doing a um a play for archives, but they'll hit them eventually,
Hmm.
and we can bait out runs into remotes with it, which would be, pretty rad. Um, um, well, we only have 3 influence used thus far. A lot of people put power shutdowns into this.
Yeah, to key into that control aspect.
Yeah. So let's put 3 of those in. If we're gonna do power shutdown, I'm actually gonna say maybe we do 3 shocks.
Okay.
Um, Celeb gift is always pretty good.
It is a nice bit of economy.
Yeah, because sometimes you gotta have teacup giraffes. Um, see, this is
How do
such
you
a
feel about Archangel?
archangel. Just as a way of what, like
more
bumping?
control, bumping
Yeah.
that one piece out of the off the table back into their hand.
Yeah, well, it's 4 influence,
Yeah,
so that's pretty brutal. For a card we're probably not going to see more than once.
yeah, we would only have one of them.
Um, I think we do need some program trash.
Yes,
Um, so that's probably a good idea. Um, I think
what do you
maybe
think?
how much is assassin?
7.
Yeah, maybe one of those. What's another big high value sentry?
Another big high value sentry.
Let's get the
That is
subtypes going. Dude, well, we don't want archers because we don't. We're trying to do a rush play.
Yep, not sacking anything.
Um.
Same thing with Enforcer, don't want that.
EG2 is probably too expensive. I don't know. We could put it in EG1.
Okay. One of.
Yeah, as a one of. God, I wish Mamba was a better card. It's just really not a good card.
That's one I will admit I need to read.
Alright. So
I would. Good.
Mamba's the strength 4 sentry that does 1 net damage, and then you have a side game to get a counter to do net damage, but only during a run.
Okay.
I think actually, I think I want to put baddies in here, and if we're doing that, I definitely want at least a 1 of Neural Katana.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's 12 ice so far.
Yeah. Yeah, because Marcus Batty is just comically good with these net damage subroutines. Go ahead and put 3 of him in there.
Let's see. More ice. More.
Is this
We only
a
have the
war?
one program trash, right? We still. Oh no, we have 2. Assassin and Ichi.
I mean, we could put some other ones in there. I was actually gonna say we should probably put a 1 of Wall of Thorns in there, just to be a barrier with teeth that they can't just face check off of.
Yep.
We still got a lot of influence to spend.
Yeah. When you go in heavy on net damage, you end up with
Mostly Jinteki
lucky
cards.
cards. Yeah.
Yeah. Go figure.
What do we got? Nebula's trash. Negotiator's never trash. Just looking at all the trash sub programs.
Yep.
Grim, we don't really want to give up bad pub.
What's Lycan? Lycan is a 6.
That's the
God,
more. Yeah. 6 cost, 3 strength.
so bad.
Yep.
Well, let's cut a shock.
Okay.
Let's
14 ice.
do we have enough money?
No. But that's all. Oh, we are at 48 cards.
Yeah.
So our money is what? Hedge.
Hedge
Celebrity
and celebrity gift. That's
So no, we
not
don't
nearly
have.
enough.
No.
Yeah.
I do like that card in Chronos Protocol, targeting marketing.
Yeah, it's not bad. I've seen several people use it to very strong effect in various decks. Maybe Maybe we don't need... I like the shocks, though, because we don't have to do anything for them. But by the same token, they don't directly help us win. And we can't control when we get them.
No.
Um... Hmm. Needs more ice. We need another piece of ice, preferably one that does net damage. Actually, I think we're gonna go down to one swordsman.
Okay.
What the hell else does net damage?
There's a bunch of them that do it.
And we don't want Chum or Inazuma or either one of the ones that require a specific setup, because in a world of anarchs, you're just not going to land that very often. Let's go up to 2 Wall of Thorns.
Woodcutter, no.
No, we don't want Woodcutter.
I know, I'm just looking at the trash. Cortex Lock. Mamba sucks.
Let's put one It's a Trap in there.
That's an interesting card. So it's not going to do the net damage very often, though. Just remember that the net damage is thematic. It's not a.
No, I get it, but it trashing one of their installed cards makes the net damage more impactful.
True.
Yeah, we can give it a go. You know, it's a Mark 1 version of the deck. We can always double back on it later. So we'll call this yeah, we'll call it Admiral Snackbar. There we go.
In honor of Star Wars.
Yeah, in honor of Star Wars, which I will be seeing shortly. So, everybody stay tuned. We're going to test out this beta test version of the deck against somebody on Jinteki immediately following this episode. Thank you very much for joining me, Thomas.
Thanks for having me.
And everybody, you can find us online at on YouTube, A&R Black Hats, and on Facebook and Twitter, A&R Black Hats. And, you know, we also play every Sunday at Days of Nights in Newark, Delaware. Thanks very much for watching. Subscribe and share.